What is going on, everybody? Appreciate you guys for being here. I wanted to get this one out here before the weekend popped up, and we got a lot to talk about. So I know I'm a little bit late to the party, but NIO actually has leveraged ETFs that are ran by other companies. And for me personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with utilizing leverage ETFs if you're careful and you know what you're doing, right? And there's two of them that popped up. I was just curious, and one popped up. You can see at the top of the screen here, it is NIOG. Okay. And this is a two-time leverage ETF. So I'm looking at the current price of NIO, which is $5, right? So right now it's currently up 1.3%. And we've got another ETF, or it's called an ETP, that goes by the ticker NIO3. So the NIOG is supposed to give you two times loan leverage on NIO, but I don't know if it's something wrong with me or what, but this thing doesn't look two times leverage to me. So let me go out and go back in for a second here. So NIOG. I just want to make sure that I got this right. Okay. So this is supposedly a two-time leverage, but when I look at the percentage, right? I'm looking at the percentage. It's not too much different. Actually, it's lower than the regular NIO. So, but let's just go with this. Let's just say this NIO leverage is actually two times, right? And I think that it possibly could be, but when I look at the volume here, the volume is very low. So this tells me that this thing is going to move 2x when NIO is actually moving, right? So NIO is up 1.3% right now. So I would expect this thing to be moving, but maybe it doesn't move unless, there is some crazy volatility. Now, one thing I don't like about this, and if you're just coming in, please hit that thumbs up, is this expense ratio. Now, if you're a person that's going to be in and out in the same day, I get it, I understand, right? But a 0.75 expense ratio is crazy. It's not like, well, I'm not even going to go there, but that's crazy. So we've got an exception date of 12/17/2025, and that can be part of the reason too, is NIO is near its lows, right? As it gets more acclimated to those higher numbers again, I think this particular ETF will uh, really be going to the Richter. So as of right now, for me personally, I have no interest in this thing because there's just simply no volatility. If I got in, I probably wouldn't be able to get out where I want to. So your girl Harley, hello, how are you? So hello, how are you? Appreciate you being here. You a girl Harley, appreciate you being here. So we're just talking about NIO ETFs right now, and then we're gonna move on to everything else that's going on. So also, there is a ETP for NIO that's has a ticker symbol of NIO3. Now I'm interested to see what this is because it doesn't look like we have anything. Maybe it's not available. So again, you got a, a 2x long daily for NIO here, which the price is no different than, the percentage move is no different than the actual movement of the regular stock. So I don't really see a benefit to this ETF. Now, I understand that a lot of people want this option because when you're dealing with options, which are leveraged, you can control 100 shares of NIO, right? But when you're dealing with an ETF like this, there's virtually no volume. There's no volatility yet. But I understand as this thing starts to move with NIO, then this leveraged ETF is going to get bigger and bigger. So look at the total assets here. The total assets are only $1.76 million, and I understand that it's new, right? So we gotta take these prices with a grain of salt for right now. But eventually, this ETF is probably gonna be worth something as NIO starts to grow. Now, there's another ETF that I just mentioned. It's called NIO3. So this is a 3x leverage ETP of NIO. Now, the reason why I probably would never do anything with this NIO3 is because I can't sell cover calls against my shares because it's a ETP, right? So ETPs, you don't have any options, right? And that's one of the reasons why I wouldn't invest in that. Okay. So again, I just wanted to let you guys know what was going on with these NIO ETFs that are leveraged. So it looks like a lot of people are getting very impatient with NIO. So basically, if the total assets become 2 million, you can actually set the ETF into the other ETFs and make more money. Yeah, yeah, eventually. But we just gotta, yeah, we just gotta get this normal NIO stock moving, man. But eventually it's gonna happen. We just gotta, remain patient if you're invested in NIO. Okay. So again, for me, the one that I would be interested in if I was a day trader is gonna be this NIOG. The NIO3, no, because if something were to happen and I wanted to make money on the way down, if I were in the stock, if I had 100 shares, then I can't sell cover calls. So it's a no go for me. I can't do any uh I can't do any sales of an option. I can't do anything. So for me, I'm out on that NIOG. I'm sorry, on that NIO3. Now, what else is going on with NIO? So NIO actually had some numbers that came out. So they had record deliveries reported. The January deliveries of 27,182 vehicles across its NIO, Envo, and Firefly brands, supporting its strategy to convert delivery growth into sustainable profits. Okay, so put $14 million into GTA 6 Trust. Yeah, I mean that's a good option too. I mean, yeah, you you definitely can't go wrong with doing that. So projected profitability. So NIO projects its first ever quarterly profit, with CEO William Lee reaffirming the target of achieving annual profitability in 2026. So again, like we've been talking about, we want to see the proof, right? We don't want to just hear about what's going on with the profitability. We want to see the numbers, and unfortunately, we have to wait until next month. And so for me, it's always hard to see when the actual earnings dates are. If you guys know what those are, let me know. I've already put 52 cents into it. Okay. Well, hey, that's a good start right there. So we're G GMB. Josh, where are you located? Be interested to know where you are. Okay, so the battery asset operator financing, NIO's battery asset operator secured an additional $145 million in its C3 financing round, bringing its total Series C funding to nearly RM, RMB 2 billion. So 2 billion RMB. Okay. So we got some movement going on. Now, there was that whole recall fiasco that happened last week, but it seems like NIO just shrugged that straight off. So if you remember, they had a recall of that 246,000 electric vehicles due to a software problem, but that thing recovered right back in the same day. So that kind of lets you know that people are ready to step in. And I think what's going on right now is people are waiting to see what these numbers are going to be, right? We know there's going to be profitability, but to what extent? You know, what kind of margins are we talking off each vehicle? Okay. Are we talking about we're making 1% off each vehicle? Are we talking 5%, 10%? We kind of want to know a ballpark. Now, I'll say this. Obviously, anything is going to be better than um than what we've been getting, right? So anything is going to be better than that. But going forward, we want to see forecasts of some elevation going up to the upside. We don't want this to be a one trick pony where we see profitability. Let's say we're getting 5% off each vehicle as a margin, and then the next quarter we're back to zero or we're back to negative. So we don't want to see that. We want to see continued process of NIO being profitable. So again, if you guys are just coming in, please make sure you are liking the liking the stream here. Appreciate you guys for being here. Okay. Now let's go ahead and talk about more of what's going on. All right. So I don't know why this thing is acting like this. All right. So OTA update. So most affected vehicles will be fixed remotely via over the air OTA updates with free offline repairs arranged for those unable to receive remote updates. So we kind of spoke about that the last time. So obviously, when you're dealing with a company of this magnitude, you would expect that they, you know, have everything together, such as they do. So um, that's good to know. Now, from a technical standpoint, you know, for me, and I think that's kind of where a lot of you guys come to this channel for me. So let's go ahead and go to the NIO chart here. So right now we're sitting at $5, right? $5 is looking pretty promising right now, and we're showing some resilience and a strong level of support. And this is practically what I've been wanting to see over the last couple of weeks, right? I've been wanting to see that strength at $5, and so far, even the bad news has not been able to derail what NIO has been doing of late, right? So when we bring this thing out, I'm gonna bring it out to the 1 hour chart, okay? So you can see we had moments in February where we were as high as about $5.14. I think we'll absolutely blow that out of the water once we get these earnings numbers. But these earnings numbers they have to be top notch, right? They cannot be um, just barely making it, right? We want to see those numbers positive, but also showing that there's true profitability. And so once we can prove that, I can see us honestly passing 514. Like, I mean, that'll be nothing at that point. And then the next leg we'd be looking at would be about 575 as a breakout point. So 575 is where I'm seeing as a breakout point. You're just coming in. Appreciate you being here. Please hit that thumbs up. Okay. So again, if we are have these great profitable numbers and we're showing like, hey, we're getting 5, 6, 7% off each margin or even more than that, right? We don't want to see 1%. If we can do that, the next breakout would be about 575 to the upside. Okay. Now, if we hold 575, now we're looking at 628. Okay. If we blow past that, now we're looking at $7, so forth and so on. So these are the technical points that I'm looking at for NIO bouncing up to the upside. Okay. So again, if you're just coming in, please hit that thumbs up, man. We appreciate you guys for being here and rocking out with us. I'm not sure what's going on with the NIO at the bottom, but hey, it is what it is. I don't know what's going on with that thing, but we'll figure it out. Okay. All right. So what I would like to see from NIO is to continue doing what they're doing, continue to be profitable, maybe take some of what they make and put it into advertising the company. Maybe some of you would have disagreed with that. But I do understand that the more you get yourself out there, the more that other countries know about your great products, the more you're going to be able to profit, right? So I know for me, for example, there are people that I know, and I ask them, hey, do you know what NIO is? And they look at me like I'm crazy, right? So even though I'm in a country where NIO is not manufactured, there's still some room to grow for NIO to be more of a name, right? More out there. I think that they have a great baseline in Europe. Obviously, in China, people know about them. Um, there are people know about NIO in Africa, so I do know that. But I think that it can be more, right? Not just certain little parts of Africa, but expanding even more. Also, the people that I know in South America, right? For example, we're talking Colombia, uh, we're talking Brazil. The people that I know in these countries, I've asked them, hey, do you know what NIO is? And they say no. I've asked people in Chile, do they know what NIO is? They've also said no. So I think one of the biggest things that they can take from this profitable quarter is to at least take some of what they made, even if it's 0.5%, no matter what it is, and start to push that name out there a little bit more. Now, we understand that where I am, for example, it'll be very, very hard, if not impossible, to get a NIO vehicle, right? And at some point, I think that would change. I think that even if we could get NIO vehicles into America right now, that the tariffs on them would be so high, it probably would deter people away from the product because the consumer is going to be the one that has to pay for it. So if you're just coming in, I appreciate you. Please hit that thumbs up as we continue to grow this part of the channel. Okay. So initially we were talking about NIO Levraged ETFs that had come out. One that came out in December, another one came out recently. There's a NIO ETF that is 2x leverage, right? 2x leverage. But when we looked at it earlier in the video, the price percentage wise wasn't no different than what the percentage move was today. It also had a market cap of like $1 million, which indicates to me that there's not a lot of liquidity. And then there was virtually no movement as far as trades go at all. So the volume was very low. So we took a look at that and see if that was something that could help traders out. As of right now, the answer is absolutely no. Okay. Now, for me, I'm going to continue to go with options if I decide that I want to get a little bit of leverage on my NIO movement, but that's me. Okay. So I just wanted to touch base with you guys, let you know what was going on with NIO, let you know what's going on with these ETF, these leverage ETF.